2 centuries later, a French botanist, this man, demonstrated that the stones strongly resembled tools that were previously used by primitive tribes. He too had no idea how ancient these tools were. Next was an Englishman, John Ferrer. He was a pioneer in the Old Stone Age, and in 1797 he found hand axes engravings in Suffolk, UK, and in a letter he described these as, quote, weapons of war, fabricated and used by a people who had not the use of metals. He continued, the situation in which these weapons were found may tempt us to refer to them to a very remote period indeed, even beyond that of the present world. Unfortunately for John Ferrer, these ideas were too radical for the times and overlooked for 6 decades. 1828, Jean-Philippe Tournelle, a French archaeologist and naturalist, made discoveries of fossil human remains in the caves of Pyrenees, La Madeleine, and Vizère. His studies were one of the first to conclude that humans lived way earlier than initially thought, contradicting religious and philosophical studies. Further, he proved that early humans existed alongside ancient animals, some of which are extinct today, such as the Magdalena and mammoths. Going back to the caves of La Madeleine, there he uncovered the Magdalenian culture, a culture known for its polished stone tools and cave art, a culture that existed in the late Paleolithic age, a time when humans began to invent and use stone tools. At about the same time, another Frenchman, this time a geologist and naturalist, Marcel Desires, focused his work on the region of Montpellier, and he actually helped to develop the concept of fossil beds and layers. That's the method used to date stones and fossils. Together, their groundbreaking research showed that earlier large and extinct carcasses had traces of cuts done by certain tools and instruments. This new information disputed the ideas that earlier humans were passive observers or primitive scavengers. It made archaeologists wonder if ancient people were perhaps refined, and information like this helps to set the stage to the study of human prehistory. After spending years working through the caverns in Liège, Belgium, Philippe Charles Schmeerling published a body of work dedicated to fossilized bones of mammals in 1833. He was one of the first people to suggest that these bones came from, as he put it, a time before the flood. His findings gave him the impression that humans actively hunted and processed these mammals. And as much as this information is common knowledge today, it was groundbreaking at the time. It led to a steering away from traditional views of human history, and it generated debate about ancient humans and evolution.